Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. Hi, welcome. So the purpose of this information session is just to kind of give you all of the stuff that you would normally get on like a syllabus day kind of presentation. We weren't able to do that because of the way labs are structured, so we set up these information sessions to present, the syllabus related material. A lot of it you can find on the course website, so I'm going to go through not everything on here, but a lot of the stuff that's on the course website, and then I'm going to make sure to leave plenty of opportunities for you to ask questions in case anything's unclear. Perhaps the most important page on this website is the course calendar. And so you can see that we've actually already got the course calendar specified basically through the end of the semester. There are a couple of holes here and there, but mostly everything is already on here. There are a couple of things that I want to point your attention to in particular. You can see here on February 13th, we have an exam listed at 6:30 in the evening, and then again on March 20th down here, there's a second exam listed at 6:30 p.m. Those are not going to change. Those are set in stone. So some of the other stuff on here might get shuffled around a little bit. I don't expect it to change that much, honestly, but it might get shuffled around a little bit. Those exams are not going anywhere. Those exams are happening on those days at that time, no matter where we are in the class. So please write those down. Please make sure that you have those on your schedule. If you have a conflict with those exams, with those exam times, excuse me, we will announce a makeup exam time. I don't know when those times are going to be. The first exam is still over a month away, so I don't know when the makeup exam time will be, but we will announce a makeup exam time when the exams get a little bit closer. The other thing I wanted to point out on this calendar page is there's a recitation actually right here, actually at this particular time, every week. So every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, I will be here, and I will run a recitation section. So what does that mean? This class is structured heavily around you doing some prep work before coming. So the way it works is we do studios on Thursdays, right? Those are the in-class assignments. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. And we expect you to do some prep work before you show up on Thursdays. So that prep work usually entails watching a few short videos and doing a few small exercises before coming to class on Thursday. The recitation sections are set up not to be a substitute for that prep work. We still expect you to do that prep work no matter what. But we do anticipate that sometimes you'll watch some of the videos and you'll get to the end and you'll be like, what was he talking about? Or what's going on? Like, still be a little bit confused, maybe still have some questions, be a little bit unsure about the course material. So the recitation sections are set up to allow you to have a chance to come in and ask questions about the prep material for that particular week. I'm not going to be lecturing, right? I promise that the recitations are not lectures. That is not what I'm having them here for. I want you to bring questions. I might bring a few practice problems for us to work on to a recitation section, but I'm not going to lecture. It's not meant to be a replacement for watching the videos. They're completely optional. You don't have to come, but the option is there for you. If you feel like you need a little extra help on a particular topic, come to the recitation sections at 1 o'clock on Wednesdays. Finally, you can see that every single assignment and studio that we have in this class is listed on this calendar already. So actually, you can see that assignment 1 is due next Tuesday. You already have a homework assignment. It's already on the website. You can get started on that whenever you would like. We're going to have our first studio tomorrow. You can see that on the website as well. Let's talk about actually what those entail a little bit, what those studios and assignments are. So studios, I know the text is a little small, sorry. Studios are meant to be done in class. You can work on them in groups, so groups of up to 4 typically. We really, really, really want you to do the studios in class. We don't want you to do them before class. We don't want you to do them after class. We want you to do them in class. That's very important. So if, for example, if you have a time crunch some week and you think, I'm just going to get this studio knocked out of the way early so I don't have to worry about it anymore, and you show up to class on Thursday and you're like, hey, I've already got the studio done, I'm going to leave now, our answer is going to be, sorry, you need to do the studio in class. You need to complete that studio while you're here in class, and you will not receive credit for that studio. Um, so we really want you to show up. We really want you to participate. Now, we understand that you may not finish the studio in the 90 minutes that you have in class. That's actually okay. The bar for the studios is for you to show up, for you to work on the problem for 90 minutes, and then no matter how far you get, we'll sign you off on having completed that studio at the end of the session. You can think about it as a participation grade if that's easier for you, but that's how the studios work. Are there any questions about that? I know it's always a point of confusion for folks. Yeah. No, you get to choose your own groups. Yeah, that's a good question. We don't assign groups. However, I would offer you a word of caution. There are some people in this class who have had programming experience before, which is fine. There are other people in this class who have never written a line of code in their life, maybe until yesterday when we asked you to. That's also fine. This course is designed for people with no experience at all. Right? So if you've never written code before, don't worry. This course is for you. But I would caution you against pairing up with somebody who's already got a lot of programming experience. Because what I tend to see happen in those situations is that that person just does the whole thing and drags everybody else along with them. And then those people don't get the concepts. They don't learn the material. Right? So I would very much caution you to try and find somebody who's roughly on the same page as you when it comes to forming groups. Okay, and so that's studios. Again, those are every Thursday. Every Thursday we have studios. And then there's a homework assignment, a lab assignment that we give out every week as well. Those are going to be assigned on Tuesday and then due the following Tuesday. So you usually have 1 week to complete that assignment. There are some exceptions, but in general, you'll have 1 week to complete that lab assignment every week. So those are done on your own. It's really just a homework assignment. And so then you have to submit that by showing your work to myself or one of the TAs to get credit for it. You have to demo your work to one of them to get credit. Yeah. You can do that in the Tuesday session. You can also do that during office hours. So any office hours session that we have, I'll talk about. Actually, I can tell you about those right now. We've got office hours on Sunday nights and Monday nights from 6 to 10 p.m. in the Greg Tech classroom. I also have office hours on Wednesdays from 2:30 to 4. So right after this session, actually, I have office hours. So if you want to demo stuff during my office hours, you can come find me over in Jolly Hall. And that information should be on the website as well. Yeah, under office hours. Did you have a question? You can find the due dates for every single thing on the calendar page. Yep. Yes. Uh-huh. Yep. You can demo them to any TA in class on Tuesday. Yep. But as soon as the last TA leaves class at 5:30 on Tuesday, that's it. In fact, you can never demo anything outside of class or outside of office hours. I realize this is a large class, and you might know some of the TAs personally. There's a couple things you should be careful of. One is if you know a TA as a friend, they are not allowed to demo you at all. That is against Title IX policy. But even still, you're not allowed to ask TAs to demo you outside of class time or outside of office hours. It has to be done during those specified times. I do encourage you to take advantage of office hours to demo your work. If you show up on Sunday night and you've got that week's homework assignment done and you show it to the TAs and they mark you off and they give you credit, there's no reason for you to come into class on Tuesday if you don't want to. So, use that to your advantage if it makes sense from a time management perspective. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We have no way of tracking who's in what section. I mean, we have a list, right? But I'm not going to go into every lab and ask people if they're in the right section or not. It's not practical. Yep. One other thing to be aware of with the demo is you should be prepared to answer some questions about your code. So what that means is if myself or the TA points at part of the code that you wrote and says, hey, explain this to me, tell me how this piece of code works, you should be able to answer that. And if you can't, you might lose some points on that particular demo. You might lose some credit on that particular demo. It's not enough just to get it working and submit it. We expect you to understand what you did, right? We want you to understand what you wrote and how it works as well. Hi. Any other questions about demoing? Yeah. They're all the same. Yep. They're all the same. Anything else? Yeah. Well, so the idea is that you would do the studio on Thursday first, and then you have until the following Tuesday to finish the assignment. In other words, the studios are intended to help you learn the concepts so that you'll be able to complete the assignments, right? That being said, it's certainly possible for you to finish the assignment before even coming to studio on Thursday. It's happened. That's certainly doable for some people, but the intended order is do the studio. That'll help teach you the concepts so that you can then complete the lab assignment. Any other questions? Yes. I was just about to get to that. That's the next thing on my list. It's the very next thing on my list. So you've got studios, you've got lab assignments, you've also got extensions. You can see it's worth a pretty large chunk of your grade. So extensions, there's actually a huge list of them on the course website. This is, you can think of it as a choose your own adventure. You have to do the studios, you have to do the labs. When it comes to extensions, we just want you to do 99 points of them by the end of the semester. We don't care how you get there, right? You can see the point values for each extension are listed here. So pick the ones that interest you, pick the ones that mean something to you, and do them and turn them in. And just make sure that whichever ones you do, you make it up to that 99-point threshold. We actually don't want you to submit them all at once. We broke it into 3 chunks. So you'll see your first 33 points, or 1/3 of the points, is due on Valentine's Day, right? So, and then the next chunk of 33 points is due a few weeks later, and then the final chunk of 33 points is due on the last day of class. But it's up to you how you get to those 33 points. We aren't going to tell you which ones you have to do. We really want you to pick ones that are interesting to you. Now, when you look at these extensions, you'll notice these numbers here. The first number in front of the decimal point indicates which week it refers to. So all of these extensions that start with 1 refer to the week 1 material that we're doing right now, right? So you probably don't want to come down here and start picking these that start with 8 and 9. They're going to be really hard because we haven't covered that material yet. But there's way more than 100 points available here. Also be warned that the point value is roughly an indication of how difficult and how large that extension is. A lot of people will come down here and they'll see, oh, this one's worth 10 points. I know this extension very well because people try it and it gets stuck. It's really tough. It's hard. That's why it's worth 10 points. So, pick and choose carefully your extensions. It's really up to you, though, how you get to that total. Any questions about how that works? Yeah. You demo them and turn them in just like you do a homework assignment. Yep. Demo them, turn them in just like a homework assignment. And again, if we ask you some questions about the code that you wrote, you should be able to answer it just like you would on a homework assignment. Yep. Any other questions? Yeah. Great question. The answer is you could, but the follow-up is I hope you don't, because you're highly encouraged to start on. You could start on these right now. You can start on these this week and turn them in at any time that you want. You can turn them in literally any time that you want. So anything that you turn in between now and February 14th, the first extension deadline, will count towards the 33 points due at that deadline. So if you turn in 10 points this week, 10 points next week, 13 points the week after that, that's your 33 and you're good. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Although I do want to point out that they don't roll over. If you turn in 50 points the first section, you're only going to get credit for 33, and you're still going to have to do 33 for the next chunk. You wouldn't have the full 33 for the next. No, you got to do 33 per period. Yep. Great questions. Yeah. We will post, yeah, another good question. We will post all this on Schoology, actually. All of the grades for the course, not just extensions, but lab studios, everything is going to be posted to Schoology. So you should check that periodically. Mistakes do happen, right? So I highly encourage you to check your grades periodically and make sure that everything is looks correct to you, and let us know if you notice any problems so that we can get those fixed. We also will announce when grades are updated. Every time myself or the TA updates grades, we throw up a post on Piazza letting people know. You'll see those come in. Any other extension questions? Yeah. Yep. That's how you submit anything in this class. You demo it to a TA or an instructor. Yep. Any other questions? Alrighty, let's see. So a couple other things in terms of the grading breakdown. Those two exams that I mentioned, you can see here, each one is worth 15%. They are not cumulative, so it's two distinctly separate exams over whatever material we've covered at that time. You'll notice that there's not a final exam. There's only the two, and there's not one at the end, and that's because of this guy right here, the final project. So it's worth exactly the same as the exams are, 15%, right? And it's meant to replace the final exam with a more concrete project for you to work on. We will announce the details of that once it gets closer. We like to change it up, make something different every semester. I don't know what it's going to be yet for this semester. We have to figure that out, but it's usually something pretty fun to work on. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. We'll let you. The answer is maybe. I mean, that's what they've been in the past. And so full disclosure, in the past they have been written exams. We are not happy that they are written exams, so we are looking into alternative methods. There's a chance that they will still be written exams, but we're looking into some other alternatives. And once we figure out what those are and how feasible they are, we'll be sure to let you know. So then the last chunk of your grade breakdown is the quizzes. You can see quizzes are worth a very, very, very small chunk of your final grade. And there's a reason for that. Quizzes are assigned once a week over that week's material, and you have an entire week to finish it. Not only that, but you can take it as many times as you want. So honestly, we want you to just take the darn things until you get them right. Just keep taking the quiz until you get it right. Now, I understand, we are fully aware, right, that assigning quizzes in this way makes it very easy for you to just go look up all the answers and submit it. But I would, again, highly encourage you to use these quizzes as a tool. These quizzes are meant to be a tool to gauge your understanding of the material that was presented. So I would encourage you to take the quiz straight, right? It's not timed, but just take it. You know, don't use your notes. Don't look stuff up on the internet. Just take it and see how well you do. And if you get them all right, awesome. You can feel confident that you have a good grasp on that course material. If you miss a few, then that might be an indication that you need to kind of go back and take a look at some of the course concepts and review them a little bit, and then you can try it again. You can try the quiz again. You know, keep taking it until you get a perfect score. That's fine, but use it as a tool. Use it as a guide to see where you currently stand with that material in the class. Any questions about that? Your first quiz is going to go out very soon, probably tomorrow, in fact. Maybe Friday, but probably tomorrow. Yes. They'll be posted on the website. Yep. Uh, we'll post everything on Piazza. Piazza is the place to go. In fact, now is probably a good time to talk about that, I suppose. If you have not done so already, please sign up for a Piazza account. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Yeah. Please sign up for a Piazza account. If we ever need to make course announcements, they're going to be on Piazza. There are a lot of students in this class. We get a lot of questions, which is great, which is fantastic. If you send me an email, I'm just one person, and I can tell you I've got 50 unread emails in my inbox right now. So it's going to take me a little while to get there. Same for Dr. Kelleher. She's one person, also has a lot of emails that she needs to deal with on a daily basis. On Piazza, you can write one message, we'll both see it, but also all 80 of our TAs will see it as well. So you're getting a lot more exposure, right? By posting your messages on here, you're more likely to get an answer quickly if you post a message on Piazza. Not only that, but you know, a lot of information is already on here. So people were asking me, for example, what should I do if I miss the information session? Well, I can come up here and type in, you know, information sessions in the search box, and then it says, all right, unable to attend intro sessions, and you can see that it's already been answered. The answer's already there. You don't even have to make a post, right? So I would highly encourage you, if you have a question that you want to ask us, to search for it first on Piazza. Chances are somebody's already gotten there. It's already been asked and answered. If you search for it and you don't see it, then by all means, feel free to make a Piazza post. We'll be happy to answer that question for you. But this is a great resource, and you're going to get much better results than you will from emailing us. I'll still write your email. I'll still respond to your email. I promise you I will. It's just going to take me a little bit longer than if you would post it to Piazza. Any questions about that at all? Yes. Okay. Those are not graded, no. Those are just for your own benefit. I highly encourage you to do them. We might do a couple of them during the recitation sessions that I mentioned, right? Or if you try one and you get stuck and you just don't know how to do it and you're having problems with it, come to recitation and ask about it. I'd be happy to do it as a group. Yeah. All right. So that's the grading breakdown. So we can talk about some of these other policies now. Here's the grading scale that we're going to use. There's nothing special going on here. It is a straight scale. I often get asked if we curve grades in this class, and to date, I have not had to curve anything in this class ever, so I don't intend to do so now. Does that mean it won't happen? I mean, there's a very small chance that we might have to do that for some reason, but I really don't foresee that happening. One other thing to point out, if you're taking this class pass-fail, the cutoff for that is a 70. So 70 or above is a pass. Anything below 70 is a failing grade if you're taking it pass-fail. Otherwise, it's just a straight scale, nothing fancy there. Let's talk about late stuff. For quizzes, you have a week to do them. They're online. There's no makeups. You got a whole week to do them. That's plenty of time. Make sure you get those quizzes submitted on time. I already talked about exams. There will be a makeup exam date announced. Let's talk about labs, because this is important. So sometimes you'll get busy with other stuff, and you'll feel like that you don't have enough time to finish the lab assignment for that week. If that is the case, you have 3 late coupons that you can choose to use whenever you want. So what that means is if you use a late coupon, you have an entire extra week to turn that lab in, right? To use a late coupon, you don't have to do anything. You just have to make sure you submit that assignment up to a week, sometime before a week after the official deadline. So what that means is if I go to the calendar, for example, and I look at the deadline for our first assignment due on Tuesday, and let's say I don't think I'm going to get it done for whatever reason, I want to use a late coupon, I don't have to do anything. You don't have to notify us. You don't have to tell the TAs. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just make sure you get assignment 1 turned in by a week later, which is January 31st. The way that we record everything will automatically detect that you turned that assignment in late, and we'll deduct one of your late coupons automatically. You don't have to do anything at all to use that late coupon. You've got 3 of those, so you can choose 3 assignments, use them on whichever ones you want. If you demo it later than a week, so if you use a late coupon on assignment 1 but you don't get it in until February 1st, it's going to go down as a 0. If you use up all 3 of your late coupons and you try to use a 4th one, they're going to be marked as zeros. So we are definitely looking for that. Trying to think. Are there any questions about how that works? Any questions at all? Yes. The textbook is just provided because some people prefer to read textbooks instead of watching videos, which is fine. Everybody's got their own different learning style, so the textbook is just presented as an alternative method for you to access the material. That's all. Some people like to use both. Some people like to watch the videos and read the textbook. It's just more options are better. Some people like to have somebody stand up on a stage and tell them about stuff. That's why we have recitations, right? We just like to present as many options as possible for you to learn this stuff. Any questions about the late coupons or any of that stuff that we were talking about? Okay. So for studios, since I already talked about how we intend to do them in class, right? That means you can't make them up. You can miss one studio without it affecting your grade. So you got one free studio that you can miss for whatever reason you want. Maybe you're sick, maybe you're going out of town, maybe you just don't feel like going to class that day. It doesn't matter to us. Just you have one studio you can miss. After you miss your second studio, however, you lose all 7% of that studio grade. So the studios are one chunk. You need to go to every single studio. You can miss one, right, to get that 7%. There are going to be 10 studios, fairly confident there'll be 10, give or take, plus or minus one studio this semester. So what that means is you need to get to at least 9 of those on Thursday to get that 7%, right? Any questions about that? Yeah. Yep. Turning in your assignments, yep. Mm-hmm. For Tuesday? I mean, yeah, you can stick around if you want to ask questions, work on extensions, turn in extensions, whatever you need to do. Tuesday is a much more loose day structure-wise, right? The TAs are there and we're there to demo any assignments, answer any questions you have, but it's up to you how you want to use those resources. Yeah. Well, it kind of depends on how late, right? If we're talking a few minutes, I'm not going to care too much, but if you're talking like an hour late, yeah, that's going to count as an absence. So I'm not sure exactly where that line is, but if I see you coming in really, really late, I'll probably tell you that you're not going to get credit for studio that day. We're definitely watching out for stuff like that. Any other questions? Okay. The last policy that I want to talk about is the academic dishonesty policy. So we take this very, very seriously. This is something that's very important to us. I know that you're taking a lot of other classes besides this one. I know that there are going to be points in the semester where you've got a lot of stuff to do and you're probably pretty stressed out. And maybe you don't have time to finish the assignments that we've given to you. I'm not surprised about that stuff at all. I would encourage you that if and when that happens, please, 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 please do not give in to the urge to just ask your buddy for their homework assignment and turn it in. Aside from the fact that we're looking for exactly that, we're constantly checking your assignments and looking for that kind of stuff. It's going to hurt you on the exams as well when you don't understand the course material. So um, I like to go through a few examples and clearly define what is over the line. If you're ever looking at somebody's code on a homework assignment that is not your own, that's over the line. If anybody is looking at your code on a homework assignment, that is over the line. And that means emailing it to somebody. That means showing somebody your laptop screen, right? That means writing your code on a whiteboard in front of somebody. Those are all what I would consider to be over the line. That's you're giving your code to somebody else, or they're giving their code to you. I would consider all of those to be violations of the academic dishonesty policy. That being said, I want to encourage you to discuss concepts with people, especially TAs and instructors, but also students in the class. The studios are great times to talk about course concepts. We encourage that because we ask you to work in groups. We want you to explore things online, right? But there's a big difference between exploring course concepts online and asking for homework help online, right? There's a big difference. I think I even said something down here, right? There's a big difference about searching for how for loops work versus how do I use a for loop to do X, Y, Z. Those are two very different things to be looking for on the internet. We want you to understand the concepts. We want you to understand what a loop is and how it works so that you can apply that to a problem. If you're looking up the direct application of a loop for a particular problem, for example, that's getting into more of a gray area where you're likely to stumble upon a solution to the homework assignment and run into academic dishonesty issues. The bottom line is we provide a lot of resources to you in this class. Lots of office hours, lots of in-class time, recitation sections, online message boards where you can ask for help, right? Before you consider doing something that would be considered academically honest, use the resources that you have available to you. Please use the resources that you have available to you. It is very easy for us to check for copying. Very easy. I don't have to sit down and check each one side by side. The computer does that for me. It takes seconds, literally seconds. So we are looking. Unfortunately, this is a problem that we take very seriously. So please be careful. And if you are ever in any doubt, please come and talk to us about it before you do anything that might be considered questionable, not after. That's too late. I'm always happy to clarify the policy, always happy to talk to you about what may or may not be considered over the line. If you do get caught, then depending on the severity, how many assignments are affected and the severity of the dishonesty violation, you could receive an F in the course and be referred to the school. That is something that we have done in the past and will do again if it's necessary for us to do so. Are there any questions about that? We take it very, very seriously. Anything at all I can answer about that? Alrighty, let's see. What else do I need to cover? I think I got just about everything. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Is there anything else I can answer for you right now? Anything at all? Yeah. Mm-hmm. The lectures or the what? It's all related. They go together. Yep. The lab assignments are based directly on the lectures, so you can't really separate the two. Yeah. Possibly. I mean, that kind of depends on the format that we ultimately decide to do on the. If we don't do paper and pencil exams, for example, then giving you a paper and pencil practice exam is not going to help you very much. So this I can say for certain. We will definitely provide you with study materials for the exam. Will it be a practice exam? I don't know, maybe. But we'll definitely give you something that you can use to study for the Anything else we can do to help you out? Or any other questions we can answer? All right. Well, this is, kind of the first recitation section as well. So if you feel like sticking around and doing some recitation stuff, asking questions about course material, I'm happy to stick around. Um, Otherwise, please take a look at that prep work, and we'll see you in studio tomorrow.